Hello YouTube. I'm in Montreal downtown right now. This is Henri Bourassa, and it's also getting into the 10 highway 10 east, but it's just starting here the highway. It's I think the easiest. Let's just close those windows. The easiest way to get to the St. Helens Island, whereas you notice the small inscription Casino Par Jean Drapeau and F1 racing track. I'm not sure if they are going to keep using it. Perhaps yes, because they are rebuilding the paddocks. So I'm filming this real time. I don't think I'm going to fast forward the video. Just follow the road. It's gonna be like maybe 20 minutes of video. This is a nice place. Right now we're going to pass nearby the old port of Montreal, which I guess is one of the more or less tourist traps in Montreal, but it's tourist, that's for sure. And we are going to head to the racing track. It's called Gilles Villeneuve in French. For those who perhaps don't know, Montreal is a mix between of two cultures or identities, a mix of French Canadian and English Canadian. English Canadian is not going to be the same as English American, not at all. It's very different. It's more Canadian. And this is the highway. Basically, we are getting onto it. So if you don't mind, I will keep talking because I don't have funky music to play in background, or I just feel like it's more I don't know, it's a tourist tool. So I was talking about French and English people in Montreal. They don't really mix, and usually they live in distinct districts. There's also, so we're going to take this exit here, Port of Montreal. Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, I was saying Montreal, it's a mix between French and English people. You find here English businesses, French businesses, I mean places where they speak either French, either English. Many places like maybe grocery and stuff like this, they will speak both French and English, but you will meet basically either French or English workers in those groceries. Not everybody in Montreal is talking both languages. So yeah, it's a particular culture, Montreal. It's a pretty quiet city, but it's getting really busy with traffic, really messed up. And there's more and more immigration. They are building more and more apartment buildings, so it's going to get really jammed at traffic hours. But otherwise it's more of a we are going to take left here. It's more of a quiet and green city. If you are going to visit Toronto, it's very different, completely different. It's like another country. If you are going to visit Vancouver, which I do recommend you do at some point, it's another world. I didn't visit Calgary, but I guess it's different again. So that's how it's Canada. It's just like wide like the States, but basically in Canada you will get, except for the maybe more eastern and northern territories like New Brunswick and places like that, you will get the Quebec province, which is the eastern province of Canada, where you'll find Quebecers, Quebecois, call them that way. So just a small pause. This is the old port of Montreal. On the left side there's a river, and these are nice buildings. You will see a weird building on the right side, far away. So I was saying, yep, you will find Quebecers, which are French Canadian. Is not like French from France. They speak a French language, but it has an accent. and this is not the same thing as French people from Europe. It's very different. Don't confuse. And you are also going to meet English people, and English people are different in Montreal than in the rest of the Canada. It's quite different. It's interesting, and like I said, they don't mix that well between them, French and English, in the Quebec province. Basically, talking about, we are taking this bridge, it's going to get to the casino and also to the F1 track. So I was saying about French and English that don't mix that well, and also in Quebec province, it's basically only in Montreal you are going to find English Canadians living, and there's a lot of them, maybe half, I don't know how much, but there's a lot of them. But if you go outside Montreal in the Quebec province, that's just Quebecers you are going to meet, French Canadians, but really doesn't have much to do with Canada. It's just a different mentality, different culture completely. Alright, so we are crossing a river, and this is Saint Laurent River. It's just one canal of the river. You don't see it on the camera, but on the left side you will see the old port and also the commercial port of Montreal. And right here there's two directions. The first one, it's island on the right. It's Island of Notre Dame. It's a more touristical place. I do recommend, let me just slow down because this bridge is pretty mangled. Actually, it's not in best shape. So I do recommend you try getting on the right side here, first exit. It's a place that was built with the all what was excavated to build the Metro of Montreal. So there was already a small island here, but they brought with trucks even more. Let me just see, I can move forward. Yeah, I should. So right now I do recommend you try the right part here, but I will keep going on, and into the way to casino you should also have, let me just remember, I think that's the casino, right? I don't really remember. Let's just try to get here. Yeah, let's get this side because I want to get into the track. So I was saying this was a small island, and then when they excavated the Metro Montreal, I think in the 60s or so, 70s, they brought all the excavation stuff, and they really enlarged the island, which made the island much bigger, and they also used it for the Universal Exposition in 87. It's a very big place, very interesting. I do recommend you get the car. You also have a metro station. This is right away the truck. This is the F1 truck, and you really check it out. Those panels, it tells you cars are supposed to be on the right side, not those guys, and bicycles and skate rollers on the left side. So be really careful because people are crossing, they don't really pay attention. Don't speed up here. It's an F1 track, but like I said, you see those bicycle crossing, they really don't pay attention, especially this is a weekend, and I'm just feeling like the lady should cross on the left side. All right, it's speed limited 30 kilometers per hour, which means about more or less 22 miles per hour. It's about what I'm doing now. Do respect the speed. I hope there's no people coming here thinking they are going to race this car. Unfortunately, there's no such moment and no such day that the track would be reserved for racing or anything like that. You still have access. You still have access, and if I know well the management mentality of Montreal, the staff that's dealing with this thing, I would just take a wild guess and say that perhaps at some point they will completely ban cars on this track, But until then, you still have access here with cars in any day, no tax, no fees. Normally the truck will go this way. You see they close this, what's that, kind of U-turn. They did close it for some reason. So yeah, you can come here. Really, I'm surrounded by bicycles. You know how bicycles are with cars, and the same cars with bicycles. They don't really, there's not a big love. I don't understand both sides, by the way. I don't really am angry with anything. But yeah, you can come here and any day. Normally, I haven't seen this truck closed except for there was this problem right with the lockdown. But other than that, even in any day, except obviously for the track days. For the racing days, you can see the paddocks right there in front. Let me just adjust a bit the camera. We'll pass by. So this is a straight line. I guess they are reaching pretty high speeds here, and you also can get marmots. Perhaps they are hiding because of the noise during the racing days, but there are quite a few marmots around. And yeah, I think it's a nice experience to drive by this place. It's again, don't come here with the mind that you are going to race anything. Maybe you can race your bicycle, I don't know, but not a car. And here's the paddocks, and they are rebuilding them. They are really modernizing them, and this is a chicane right here, and I'm going to take it slowly because I really don't. You see the bicycles are cutting the road. You really need to pay attention. I try to get the speed bumps. This is more like it. You also have a beach right here. We call it beach, but don't expect Florida beach. It's really pretty dirty sand, and it has a little bit of grass places. These are the paddocks right here, the left side, the new ones. Basically, you are seeing them perhaps ahead of time, a little bit ahead of race. You can also see the marks on the pavement. The I don't know what's the technical name for it, but it's where the car get aligned to start. We are in the middle of them right now. There's where the spectators, I guess, with the more expensive tickets stay. Yeah, I was saying there's a beach right here. You can park your car right there on the left side. There's a parking, and the beach access is right on the right side. Maybe you can get you don't see really the beach. The water is really just for not even kids, I would say toddlers. Right there is the entrance for the beach. But for Montreal, I mean, we are not at the sea, so it's good enough. It's just spend the day at the sun. Not too expensive. However, I have to say that one thing that it really bugs me is that you do have a few parking spots here in the park, but it's very expensive, and I don't like that because it's kind of making us with a car impossible to come on a more often base, or more frequent, more often times. It's $8 for an hour, and I guess around $24-25 for a day. Canadian, you can pay with Visa, no debit cards, Visa or coins, and yeah, it's pretty expensive. It's sad a little bit. Yeah, I will perhaps put some point. No, I will link a few interesting links in the comment sections because I'm not going to edit this video. Let's just take the speed bumps. Yeah, this one don't move much. But I will link the map of this racing track, and I will also link you a site that gives you real-time traffic and road closure in Montreal. It's Quebec 511. 511 is in digits. It's a very recommended site to check before visiting Montreal because there's a lot of road work, especially on the highways, and they close the roads many times without even announcing it in advance. So if you travel to Montreal, especially you're taking Highway 40, 15, you're coming from 15 south, right, from the States, be sure to check that map and click on those small construction cones. You also have a bunch of, this is a crossing line, a bunch of camera, real-time traffic cams, and also you'll see the lines on that map. If the road is closed, it's gonna be looking like a red dot line, so careful with that. Not much. Careful with that when you travel to Montreal. Even I myself, and I guess all people here in the town, we get really surprised by the changes, and it's a mess to make those detours. It's a real mess, and it's getting even worse if you are in traffic. Now, if you are visiting here, my advice, and I guess it doesn't appear to make much sense, is don't come. Try not to be here in weekend sunny days. The reason behind is not only you will get a lot of people like this, but it's especially if you want to go, we'll perhaps show you this at the La Ronde. La Ronde is a Six Flags amusement park. Let me see if I can get some attention. And if you want to come to La Ronde, I think we are in the this is the place where I came through from the bridge, so that's you already seen this part. So if you come to La Ronde, not only it's extremely busy in weekend days that are sunny, it's much better to choose a weekend days that it's cloudy with slight rain, not a lot of rain. If there's a lot of rain, they are going to close it. This is an exit, by the way. You can just exit here, but I want to go maybe, these are the speed bumps. I want to go maybe to show you a little bit the entrance of La Ronde. So I was saying, don't come here to visit the amusement park when everybody's going to be there, because you are going to regret it. For once, you are going to wait a lot in line for each what's the name, for those roller coaster and stuff. And even though you may buy VIP, I would recommend you if it's a really busy day. But the problem is going to be also with traffic, because this island, I'll show you perhaps, not sure, but there's a road that goes to La Ronde, and that road is completely blocked, both in the morning when everybody's coming and in the evening when the site is closing. You are going to wait 1 hour and a half, barely moving your car. And perhaps when you have kids that are small kids, got tired from the day, a lot of sun and stuff, it's not the best receipt. So I'm just saying that. Right now I'm going to leave the F1 track, and I really want to pay attention. There's a lot of people. They are kind of paying attention, these bicycles, but I guess it has to be from both sides, right? So we don't want to hurt anybody. Right now I'm leaving the F1 side. I'm going to cross this small bridge, and I'm going to drive a little bit, and you notice that sphere, which is interesting to visit. And you also have a bridge, a water river here. This is another part of the Saint Laurent River. It's interesting to see. It's not much you can do here, but it's still I would say an amusing visit. This is the other half of the island, actually. So there's two islands, two half of the same island basically, and you have a place here which is, I don't know, they put a lot of concrete. It looks fancy, but that's not exactly much you can do. Right there in the background, you see that red building. there's a big pool right there, so you may want to visit that thing. It's interesting. It's maybe $8 per person, maybe kids is less, but again, think about the parking, which is expensive. So I was saying, this is the other half of the building, of the island, which I do recommend you give it a tour. There's more grass here, more picnic tables sometimes, but like I said, in days, weekend days, where everybody is going to go to La Ronde, this is going to be almost hell on the road. Right now we're driving towards La Ronde actually, and it's not far away. It's 2 minutes. You can see the Jacques Cartier Bridge right there. I do recommend give it a try. You can walk into the forest here. It's more like nature thing than the other side of the island. We're saying, because we are in lockdown right now, partial at this point. We have the La Ronde is closed. I don't think they did open, but it doesn't look like. And also, when you turn on left here, at left, you can go onto the Jacques Cartier Bridge. So it's like a ramp, access ramp. I'm not sure if you can go both ways towards the city or not, but at least towards the city you can go. So La Ronde is closed right now. You will see the entrance. I'll let you drive you there. It's an okay place. I do remember I got a season pass at some point. You see a nice view of the river here. I got a season pass at some point, and it was okay, but I was coming during weekdays, not weekends. Weekends is really too much, way too much. You have to walk long distances. This is the staff entrance, by the way. You have to walk long distances. Obviously, the lines to the each line is really big. Even the lines for the kids, I don't know, in French is manège. I don't know what's the name in English. But it's too much waiting, too much walking. There's some restaurants. The food is not so bad, but obviously it's really expensive, and they don't let you go in with food. You can. I'm not sure if you can get in with water bottles. I'm not sure. They check. They are going to check your bags and stuff. So this is the entrance. But like I said, especially for family with kids, in busy weekend days, I think it's really tiring. If you are more into the teens and or adults and a bunch of friends and come here to have fun during weekdays, I think it's worth it. It's amusing. You have I think there's a bungee cord. I never tried that. I really don't have the courage to do so, but it's amusing. It's amusing. You have a few roller coaster that I would say perhaps close to medium hard, medium scary, close to medium, not even medium, I think. So it's not about really big sensations, it's more about spending a day. And you also have the parking here, the parking areas right there. Parking also you pay extra. It's about $25 for the parking for the day. You also have a small climbing wall. Yes, climbing wall, but it's really, in Montreal we don't have this, so it's small is good enough. It's this place here. You will find a bunch of people here sometimes. You can also park here normally. Let me just drive you, and I'm going to stop the video at that point. Okay, this is the access towards the Jacques Cartier Bridge, but this access goes, let me see again. Yeah, it only goes towards Montreal, so it doesn't go the other way. That's what I was thinking. And you actually can also come from Montreal on the bridge and take this access to access the island. And this is the place that's going to be really annoyingly crowded, bumper to bumper, in days where everybody is going to La Ronde. And basically this is one of the roads that's going to be packed with people. Just see. Oh, I think this is the access. This is the access for the other side of Jacques Cartier Bridge. Yeah, that's towards the south of the bridge access. So there's the two access right there. Okay, I didn't even know that. So don't confuse the access point, because you are going to go maybe the wrong direction. This is one of the roads that's perfectly traffic jam, because there's another parking here for La Ronde. It's more far away, but people are still coming here. And I do remember I was counting the hours here. So that's about the other side of the island. That's how it looks. It's forest, trees, grass. There's a small promenade right there down, but it's more about nature. It's not something a tourist attraction or something like that. That's the parking, the other parking for La Ronde, and you notice it's pretty far away, but it's the same price. You see the old Port of Montreal right there. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me just park here. I hope you enjoyed this, and any comments? I do have a few other videos with streets in Montreal, and perhaps I'm going to keep uploading now and then a few days. It's interesting, I guess. If you're coming from the US, it's interesting to visit the city and spend a few hours, maybe even a few days. Thanks for watching.